Yes, absolutely. It's lit. This is Byron Gatsby is literally the do more mentor. Okay. um,
No, I'm in hiding. I'm in hiding.
so anything, personal development, scaling your business, everything, mindset. He is your go-to guy.
Peace, family. What's going on? What's going on? I'm excited to be here with y'all. It's me, Coach Byron Gatsby, seven-figure strategist, real estate professional, and the Do More mentor. If you don't know, now you know. I'm excited to just talk. We're gonna just kick it, right? It's been a very, productive day. I'm all about just building, but on this call, just kicking it with you guys. I want to just lay back while we dive into something that's so extremely important, and I've been discussing it amongst my peers, other entrepreneurs, and we've all agreed that this is definitely a topic that should be discussed. And just the title to bring you guys in is just why imperfect action beats delayed perfection, right? So let's talk about that for a minute. Why imperfect action beats delayed perfection every time, right? And we're going to dive into this because what we realize is it's really holding back for a lot of powerful men. And don't get me wrong, right? We're men, we're entrepreneurs, we're fathers, so naturally we strive for perfection, right? But in the pursuit of our goals, in the pursuit of building our business, in the pursuit of raising and organizing and getting our families to where we want them to be, we just got to realize that that whole process is not going to be perfect, right? So if you're out here, you're overthinking, you're stuck in planning mode, waiting on the perfect time, this episode is for you, right? This episode is for you guys, and just to be clear, perfection, it feels safe, but it's costing you money, momentum, and peace because simply we're not getting started, right? We gotta dive in, and that's what I've really been turned up off of lately is just that ignorance on fire, right? Just having that burning desire to get to the next level, to see myself really grow and evolve. And I was guilty of it. I used to sit on everything I'm building now, from my digital university to my branding agency to my e-commerce store. I had these ideas and I had these business concepts for so long, but I stayed in planning mode for so long, I wasn't taking action to actually see them developing and growing. And what it did was it always pushed me back to what was safe, and that was my real estate business because I know that I can depend and rely on the real estate business to bring me income, right? But I was realizing that, hey, listen, even though real estate is great, if I'm going to scale, if I'm going to get to that next level, if I'm going to be elite in the space, they talk about seven streams. If I'm going to be an elite entrepreneur, I got to stop leaving real opportunities on the table, right? And while I thought I was preparing and striving for this perfection, I really was just kind of still doubting myself, right? And I feel very good just being able to say that out loud. I was doubting myself. I was unsure because I was too focused on trying to see this plan in this perfection mode on paper when I had to realize that doesn't matter, right? It's staying on paper. It can look so beautiful on paper, but if we don't execute it and if we don't get, put those blocks in place, like I say, brick by brick, day by day, if we can't measure execution daily, consistently, if we can't see, that pyramid or empire developing, evolving, and growing based on blocks, right? Like Tetris, based on actual physical blocks that we're putting in place, then is it really in existence? No, it's an idea. And I'm encouraging, I'm just encouraging everybody in this season, right? We all know what kind of season we're in, but I'm encouraging everybody that's out there to take action now. Take action now. This is the time where you should really be having fun. You should really be taking risks. You should really be pushing the envelope on any idea that you got, because to me, this is the season of the entrepreneur, right? This is the season of the entrepreneur. Now, why do I say that, right? Because society is shifting. As we all see, look at the major shift that's happening, right? It's kind of a war and a battle between the in the industrial age and this technology age, right? And obviously we all know that technology is dominating, right? But the old school way of doing things, everything that President Trump is doing is trying to preserve and reserve that old way, right? Make America great again, right? But the new way is here and is moving powerful. So what's going on is just life, just everything is trying to figure out how to merge together. And that kind of boils down to that perfection, right? Everybody's trying to figure out how to create this perfection out of chaos. But what I'm here to tell you guys is those who take the risk, those who just be ignorant on fires, those who just, like they say, learn to fly, on the way down. You know what I'm saying? Like really push yourself to start that project. Push yourself to start that thing that's been sitting on your mind, that's been sitting on your desk. And don't get me wrong, this doesn't have to be strictly business, fellas, right? Because as I always promote, as I always say, that personal development, right? Having our personal lives intact is the first thing that we want to get in order before we can even really begin to effectively developing and giving the proper time and the energy to our business. So, what does that look like from a personal development standpoint, right? Stop putting the things off for tomorrow that's on your mind to do today. All right. I'm going to say that again. Stop putting the things off for tomorrow that's on your mind to do today. And what I mean by that is we all have these things that kind of weigh on us in our mind. Like if you've been saying for the last day, week, month that you need to get in the gym. If you've been saying for the last day, week, month that you need to spend more time with your kids, that you need to spend more time with your spouse, that you want to catch up with mom, that you want to catch up with dad, that you want to catch up with old friends, that you had this business idea that you wanted to present to the wife, whatever's on your mind, but you're not doing it because you're feeling like you're waiting on a perfect time, or even outside of that, we're feeling like we got all the time in the world, which reality we don't. But if we take action on those things, right, as they start to enter our space, what I had to realize and learn was that was for a reason, right? That was for a reason. It's all to make you better. When you get these things on your mind, when you get these ideas, when you get these feelings, when you get these impulses, they're naturally, especially for something that you want to do and that you want to see in your life, in your world, they're naturally blessings sent to you that if you take action on them, the reward, the fruit from actually taking that action, you're going to receive it. But what happens is because of our lack of disciplines, because of our lack of taking action on these things that we desire immediately, what was sent to be a blessing and what was sent to be fruit for us to bear turns into heaviness, right? It turns into the thing that's holding us down because now, because we're not taking that action, because we're not executing, we're dealing with the guilt. We're dealing with the guilt of not executing. We're dealing with the guilt of not building our businesses. We're dealing with the guilt of not, getting up going to the gym. We're dealing with the guilt of constantly missing that daddy daughter date or missing hanging out with the son. And I have this conversation my partners all the time because don't get me wrong, I'm able to come to you guys and talk about these calls because I experience these same things. Most men do. And when I'm talking to my brothers, what we realize is, of course, we're not perfect, but when we're having these conversations, what I realize the most, and I had to stop my brother in the process, and I tell him, hey, this isn't the first time that you brought up to me that you wanted to spend more time with Junior, that you wanted to, get that quality time in. But have you guys done it yet? Have you guys caught up yet? Have you worked that into your schedule yet? Because the fact that you keep communicating about it, I can tell it's bothering you, but have you taken action on it yet? And what we realized, he was like, yeah, you right, B, I haven't. I'm gonna do it. And when he did it, what I realized is when he actually took that action and did it and put that quality time with Junior, the whole conversation and the whole energy changed. It went from I gotta do with kind of like a guilt to me and Junior had a blast hanging out. I took him to his baseball training. I got him his coach set up. We spent that time and all of the benefits that came from doing this thing that he know he needed to do. Now now we're talking about that, and it's a different level of excitement that he's talking about it with, right? And so it's little studies like that that made me kind of develop the secret and the sauce to realize that, hey, it's really power, and that's what goes back to my quote when we say, do more, dwell less, right? It just triggered my brain. When dwelling becomes doing, magical things begin to happen. And what I realized is when bro went from saying what he desired to do and should have been doing and actually did it, the magic that he was able to talk about, you know what I'm saying? The excitement that he was able to talk about from actually putting the action into play to spend more time with his son, it was a complete shift. And it wasn't just a shift of excitement for him with spending that time, but it was excitement from him realizing that, hey, I just need to take action on more things that I say I need to do, not only because usually those things that we're thinking about that we need to do are the most rewarding things, right? But it also lifts and it removes a heaviness. You know what I'm saying? It removes a heaviness from us, right? And what we realize is that small progress, right? That's what we always say, brick by brick. Small progress builds confidence, right? Not planning, not perfection. Start before you're ready. That's where the shift happens, right? So I encourage you, whatever it is, whatever projects you're working on, whatever ideas you have, whether on the personal side of things, whatever you've been wanting to do, you don't have to be perfect at it. Like you don't have to go in the gym and do a 2 hour workout. Start with 10 minutes. Go in there and do 10, 15 minutes, leave. I guarantee you the next day you'll be more inspired because the confidence is built from that 10 to 15 minutes. The confidence is built just from you being able to say, hey, I was thinking about doing this and I actually did it. I can celebrate this and I can feel good about this, right? So we're gonna pause right there, right? Because I have to shout out our sponsors, one of our sponsors for this show, and that's Entrepreneurs Are Us. Entrepreneurs Are Us.life at www.entrepreneursareus.life. If you're about action, your brand should show it. Entrepreneurs Are Us is more than merch. It's a mindset and it's a movement. Grab your merch and get in the movement today. That's www.entrepreneurs, letter R, us, us.life. We appreciate Entrepreneurs Are Us for sponsoring this show. Y'all go and tap in and check them out. Now, back to the conversation, right? So imperfect action, right? Imperfect action leads to wins. Every win I've had started off messy, uncomfortable, but I took action anyway, right? Every mentee that I have, they launch without feeling ready, right? They come to me and they have these ideas, they have these things, these hurdles that they want to get over. And the first thing I tell them is, the first question that I ask them is, okay, what have you actually done to start to move that needle forward, right? Because clarity comes from movement, not from waiting, right? And it's a simple formula, right? Start ugly, get better, repeat, right? So I always encourage them when they come and they're seeking my help, they're seeking my guidance, they want to know how to get over these hurdles. They're struggling at just these specific areas. The first question before I start to give them any advice based on my experience and expertise, before I start to tell them anything, I stop and I ask them, hey, what have you done or what have you attempted to do to solve this problem before you've come to me? Right? I ask them that question, and typically they don't really have an answer of what they've done because too much of that time and energy was spent on the actual problem itself, right? How it was affecting them, how it was holding them back, why they couldn't move forward because of it. So once they put all that energy there, the energy to actually take action was removed. And really all that they needed was, and that's why coaches exist, that's why mentors exist, that's why having good counsel around as men, as entrepreneurs, as women, even as business people, we need good counsel. We need community. We need those accountability buddies. Because what I realized is that's just what all was missing. They just needed somebody to remind them that, hey, all you got to do is what you say you're going to do, right? Win, lose, or draw. All you got to do is say what you say you're going to do, and you're going to be in a better position taking action doing that than you are with the brain funk, right? And brain funk is a natural thing. We go through it, right? To me, it's a part of the game. And why I say it's a part of the game, because what would success really be if it was just as simple as, all right, I got an idea, all right, I got a vision, I see it clear, now I can walk it all the way through. Like what would that really, we really be able to call that success? No. So it has to be a yin to a yang, right? But realizing, understanding that that goes hand in hand, the faster you understand that, the faster you will be able to counter it, right? And so, just throughout all of my experience, from running my AT&T franchise, from building that, to having to shut that company down, to building my nonprofit organization, to having to shut that down, getting in real estate, building that. I'm still in real estate. I'm thriving. I'm doing extremely well in real estate. To building all the companies, the Ultimate CEO University, to building the Do More Mentor podcast. What I realized through all of that was simply it wasn't that I was operating from a space of perfection. Is that I realized that just don't get caught up on the thoughts of things, because that's all there just to slow me down and be a distraction or make me feel like I can't move forward. And that's how I came up with the entire mantra, do more, dwell less, because I realized when I was dwelling, I like to call it dwelling, but whenever I was dwelling or trying to figure out or thinking too much or trying to come up with, decide what I'm going to do next, or just in an emotional state due to things that's happening and going on around me, whenever I found myself there, the only time I started to make progress and come out of that space, when I really just said, fuck it, right? Fuck all that. I'm about to take action and do this. I'm going to make a move because I'm tired of thinking about being in this same spot. I'm tired of thinking about that, hey, I want to see this. I want to be this. I want to grow this. I want to build this. I just got tired of just thinking about it. And I'm like, the opposite of that is taking action, starting to put the pieces in place and just getting it done, right? We'll figure the rest out along the way. And once I literally acted on that and started to really be ambitious in that way, I realized I can literally do anything, right? And I'm thankful and I'm grateful for the failures that I had to experience, because without the failures, I wouldn't have the confidence to not only take action the way that I have it now, right? Because I no longer fear failure like I'm talking about. I feel like it's just a part of the journey, it's a part of the path to test me, right? But it's because of the failures that I realized how valuable taking action and getting up and going at it again was. That's ultimately what makes a champion a champion. Getting up, taking action, pushing through, figuring it out. And when you get into that movement space, like movement, and we know movement is energy, right? It's spiritual, right? Um, God is not waiting on perfection, right? He's waiting on motion. He's waiting to meet us with excitement. He's waiting for us to be active, to be aggressive. That shows a sign of faith, right? Faith without works is dead. So move even if you're unsure. You know what I'm saying? Move even if you're unsure, because taking action is a sign that you trust the process, you believe in yourself, you believe in your vision, you believe in your mission. If you're an entrepreneur and you have a team, you believe in your team, you trust and know that as long as you show up every single time, as long as you show up every single day, the exact thing that you came to receive, the exact thing that you came to get is going to be there for you, right? So action is not even, it's a spiritual thing, right? Just like working out, like when the body gets to moving, you get to feeling good, your energy is radiating, you start to smile more, you look good, you feel better. It's all a result of action and discipline, right? And I have to throw this in here. It's very important to understand it doesn't matter where you're at, right? I don't care. Like, let's say for the gym, for example, right? Nobody is just going to start it off super fit, right? So I don't care if you're 300 pounds, 400 pounds. Listen, just get started. Get started. Keep going. You don't have to have, like so many of us in business, we get caught up. The number one thing that I hear from all of my, mentors, I mean, my mentees that I've been able to help them grow their business, they always talked about and mentioned the things that they didn't have, right? I don't have the funds. I don't have the time. I don't have the network you have, Byron. I don't have the experience you have, Byron. I don't have. And because I'm a mentor, it's my job to listen to people. And I talked about this before on one of my calls. Anytime I mentored or coached somebody that wasn't getting the results that they desired to see, it was the direct reflection of what was coming out of their mouth. I would always remind them, hey, how do you expect to be successful? How do you expect to close deals? How do you expect to get results when nothing that leads to that is coming out of your mouth? I haven't heard you say one thing about how you're going to be victorious. I haven't heard you say one thing about how you're going to be the best closer. I haven't heard you say one thing about how my business is going to be the most successful business, the best business that the industry has ever seen. I'm not hearing any of this type of verbiage, even if it's just from faith based, right? I'm not hearing any of this type of talk or verbiage coming out of your mouth, and you're sitting here questioning and wondering and coming to me to know why your business isn't thriving. It's because you are holding it back based on your personal thoughts because of what's coming out of your mouth. And again, I understand that, right? Because a lot of us go through it. But what I understood in that moment was not only why mentorship and a good counsel community is super important, but it was also an immediate reminder for myself to protect my positivity, to protect my peace, to protect, and it's a famous quote that I've been tossing up a lot during my trainings and coaching. And it says that the key to success is making sure to tap into that childlike spirit and stay there, right? When we were children and we were learning how to ride our bike and we were learning how to play basketball or play football or whatever we were ambitious about as children, we didn't even have a second thought about what could go wrong. We were so excited about doing that thing. And as we grow and evolve as adults and we go through life and we see our parents' failures and we see our neighbors' failures and we see this person's failure, we start to inherit that negativity. We start to inherit that sense of failure and we lose that childlike spirit and that ambition that's going to carry us to not only taking the risks necessary to grow and be successful, But even when we start to take that risk to get the results consistently, we can't we gotta stop overthinking, and we gotta just be that childlike spirit that's just, hey, I'm gonna jump off the porch even if I fall and bust my ass, right? Remember when we were a kid, we used to run and backflip, front flip off the porch, and it just amazes me how as adults we wouldn't dare, right? But when we were children, it was nothing to us. The game, only thing should change is the game, right? Get back to that childlike spirit of going, running, jumping off the porch, doing that front flip, knowing that, hey, I'm gonna have fun with this shit, right? I'm gonna figure it out along the way. And then as I continue to figure it out along the way, because I'm just doing, eventually I'm gonna become the best at it, right? Because I'm operating from a space not of perfection, right? But confidence in just taking action. I know if I do it over and over and over again, and this guy's still standing on a porch, I don't care if I jumped off the porch that first time and I bust my ass. Look, the person that's standing on the porch won't even know what that experience is like. So I'm ahead of the curve, right? We got to tap back into that. And honestly, that's what's really been working for me and allowing me to dominate and grow my companies and build my businesses the way I've been able to do it. It's not, people always ask me, and I feel like when they're asking me, they're looking for something special. Yes, this is very special, but I feel like they're looking for it's like something politically correct. And I'm just telling them, hey, I'm just taking action. I'm just doing this shit. Sometimes I don't even know what I'm doing, but I know if he can do it, if she can do it, if it's been done before, even if somebody don't give me all of the answers, even if somebody don't give me the direct blueprint, I'm going to figure it out, right? I'm going to figure it out by being consistent and taking action. And I encourage you guys to do the same, right? I encourage you guys to do the same. So I'm going to pause right there. I got to give a shout out to another one of our sponsors for tonight, Call. That's the Wealth Partners Referral Network, the Ultimate CEO University. And they're teaching entrepreneurs how to turn motion into money, right? If you want to earn while sharing services people already need, services like real estate referrals, credit repair referrals, income tax referrals, business branding and automation referrals. Join the network. We're building together. So what the Wealth Partners Referral Network is it's pretty much a team of, it's a community where everybody has brand, services, products, some of those products that I just mentioned off to you guys. And literally what they're doing is for you just referring those products and services with all of their tools and resources, you're going to be able to earn a commission and build a business by simply referring all of these different businesses and earning commissions off every client that comes from your direct contact. So the link is going to be in this video to get more information, to learn how to earn more money online with the Wealth Partners Referral Network, sponsored by the Ultimate CEO University. Right, so y'all make sure y'all tap in with them. And again, shout out the Ultimate CEO University, and all of our partners over there for being a sponsor on this call. Now, as we close out, as we close this call out, right? Again, faith without works is dead, right? I know you heard it before, but it's the truth, right? I'm encouraging you guys. I'm encouraging you. Whatever it is that you've been delaying, whatever it is that you've been thinking about but you haven't done, now is the time. Today is the day. You will feel better. You will get that motivation and inspiration that maybe hasn't been there once you just take that first step. Let's go together. Tap in with me, right? Leave in the comments. Report back. Get into my community. Tell me that, hey, that thing, Byron, that I heard you on your call, that thing that I've been pondering and thinking about, I actually got up and did it today. And let me know how you felt. I guarantee you that you won't have any regrets. Just like my brother, when I was talking to him, and he was just constantly be working on the gym. And he's just like, B man, my business is doing good. Like, everything is going well over here. But I just got to spend more time with Junior. I got to spend more time with Junior. And we simply realized, I'm like, bro, you keep saying that. You keep saying that. When you gonna actually make time for it and do it? And he's like, yeah, you're right. And I'm telling you, when he went and did it, that energy that he came back with of completion, it gave him the energy. Now that's off his plate, it's off his mind, and it was replaced with great spiritual, positive, confident energy. Like, what's next? You know, if I did that, what's next for me to conquer? What's next for me to do? And we're not going to be able to get to that space of what's next to do and what's next to conquer until we start to taking action consistently, daily, and checking these things off the list. Launch that idea you've been thinking about. DM that lead you've been thinking about going after. Post that content. Like, post that content. You got products. I don't care if nobody like your stuff. Promote. Market. Post. Because one thing for sure, you have to be a believer before anybody else can be a believer in what you are inspiring and desiring to do, right? You don't need to be perfect. You need to be in motion, right? Do more, dwell less. You don't need to be perfect. You need to be in motion. You need to take action, right? I'm Coach Byron Gatsby. Do more, dwell less. Let's build. When dwelling becomes doing, magical things begin to happen. So please do me a favor. I need you guys' energy, right? I want to hear back from you. I want to hear those success stories. I want to hear that, hey man, I'm getting shit done. Like, let's talk. Talk to me. I'm getting shit done. No matter what's going on around me, I know I can do at least a little bit of what I've been wanting to do. And that little bit is going to turn to a little bit more. And that little bit more is going to turn to a little bit more. And you're going to look up, and whether it's an empire, whether it's better relationships, whether it's your fitness, whether it's feeling just better, whatever you do, let's be results driven. Let's be action takers. Let's constantly be moving and in motion, right? Motion gang, right? Do more, dwell less. Let's drop the comments, right? We're going to be ignorance on fire. We're going to be executioners, right? Not literally, but literally. We're going to be executing. We're going to be taking action. We're going to do more. We're going to dwell less. And then we're going to experience the magic of being the doers. The doers will win, not the smartest, the one who actually take action and gets it done. So I'm going to leave you guys with that tonight. Give you guys your time back. Again, fellas, ladies, do more, dwell less. Do not underestimate the power of that simple mantra. Do more, dwell less. Till next time.